And here we go with another episode of the Slack Doctors. We're getting down to the end of the year. We got this and one more episode for the end of 2025. I am Dr. Chip.
I am Dr. Bob, back in Dr. Bob's Gainesville bunker.
There you go, back home in the. Yeah, I see the clown posse face in the background.
The tie-dye shirt, which is entirely inappropriate to wear up in the cold north.
Right. Yeah.
It's actually not too bad outside today, but tomorrow it's going to get nasty.
Really? What's going to happen tomorrow?
It's supposed to. The temperatures are going to drop down here to like in the 30s.
Well, it's going to rain or something. It's just going to get cold.
I think it's just going to get really cold. I don't know. It might rain too.
I mean, if the sun stays out, I don't care. It's nice today, man. I rode the bike down today with a jacket on. It was beautiful. Anyway, I didn't even look at my hair. Do I have a helmet head?
Yeah, well, it's hard to tell with the.
I have headphone head on right now, I guess.
Yeah,
anyway,
exactly.
So you got any news nuggets at all, or if you do, even if you don't have a news nugget, I want you to tell the young Ethan story of him questioning your West Coast wave status.
Oh yeah. So our buddy young Ethan sends me a text inviting me to his birthday party, which is coming up soon, and I sent back, "Hey, sorry, man, I'm going to be on the West Coast visiting family." And then he sends back something like, "Oh, cool, have a good time. The waves are probably much better out there," or something. So I sent back, West Coast of Florida. And the next time I talk to him, I'm going to say, "Have you ever looked at me? Do you really think I give a rat's ass what the waves are like anywhere? You think I've even once ever done that?" It was pretty funny, though. In fact, he hasn't responded since then, so I don't know.
Well, what you need to do now that we have the technology is you need to go on and learn how to AI yourself onto like body surfing some huge waves in Hawaii.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Thanks, man. I took your advice. You're right. The waves out here were great.
And if you have any tips on AI,
maybe even an AI of me missing a leg or something, like shark bite. You know,
that'd be good. If the shark bit off your leg while body surfing, that'd be perfect. That'd be
right. And then I could blame him. Thanks a lot. I had no intention of surfing, but your comment about the waves led me to check it out.
There you go. Yeah. And then they can send a link to the finished product to 904-549-9024. And
outstanding. Nice segue there.
Right?
Yeah.
How's that?
Again,
I got it sitting right here.
The number, it says right on there. Again. The number is 904-549-9024. So, no, I don't have news nuggets, but you know what I have been waiting to tell you was about the trip back, because it was such a good story that if it hadn't have been for the edible that I took before I went into the airport, I would have had sufficient anger. My plan was to call our hotline and literally just leave a verbal rant of me screaming into the phone about how pissed off I was. But unfortunately, the fuse had died down by the time the plane landed. But I'll try to do my best to recreate it. All right. So first of all, I had to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. It's like 30 degrees outside. Whatever. Right. It's Ohio. You expect that. It's a 45-minute drive to the airport.
30 is good.
And I got to be there. Yeah, I got to be there a full 2 hours before, because it's a big-ass international airport, and it's not like Gainesville, and it's the holiday season and blah, 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 whatever. So I get there. As I'm approaching the TSA line, which isn't too bad because it's pretty early. It's like 6:30, 6:45, something like that. I'd smoked a cigarette outside, I think, before I went in. And, of course, I took the edible that I just talked about, 100-milligram gummy, which is integral to the story because it definitely changes my attitude after about 3 hours of being in the air and in the airport. So I go through the TSA line. Now, I've already talked about the flight up and how there's no rhyme or reason to the items that set off the TSA alarms. Once again, same thing. They did, in fact, want to check out the microphone. They were concerned about that. Right. But before I even got to that point, I knew there was going to be a weird day. The guy in front of me in line at the TSA goes up to the TSA agent, and as I'm waiting for another agent to call me over, I hear the one thing that I'm glad I didn't hear, and you never want to hear, is he tells the guy straight up, "I don't know, man, the system's saying it ain't you." So this guy was trying to get through TSA with either the system, the algorithm was not, recognizing his face properly, or he didn't have the right ID. I don't know, but a whole situation was starting to develop around that. But I managed to sidestep that, go to a different TSA agent, get in the line. Everybody's putting their stuff in the line. You don't have to take your shoes off anymore. I don't know how somehow that's new, but that'll come up again later when I talk about the Charlotte airport. So I'm in the line. Everybody's putting their shit in the bucket there, and I'm putting my everything in the bucket. I'm emptying my pockets. And I noticed that everybody in front of me is throwing their keys in the bucket. And that's when it hits me. I don't have my keys. My keys are still at Heather's house, 45 minutes away. And now I'm through. It's too late. There's nothing. So I get through the TSA line in a full blown panic. I call her. I'm like, look, I don't know what to do about this. She's like, yeah, I don't have time to get back and get through security. If I go out through security, I won't be able to get back in. So that's it. So I'm already in a real shitty mood.
Because
I know.
Yeah, no, there's no way.
It's a Sunday too, so there's nobody in the office. It's not like I can come home, go to the office, and say, hey, can you guys let me in my apartment? So I know there's an after hours number, but at this point, it's too early to even think about calling it, right? So there's nobody's going to answer. So all I have is my rage. And the edible has not hit yet. So at this point, I'm totally pissed off. I'm waiting, sitting there at the gate. Finally, it's time to load the plane. I've got my phone out with my boarding pass on it. Now, a few people in front of me, I'm group 9, of course, one of the last to get on the plane, which I prefer. I don't understand people that want to get on the plane first.
I don't get it either.
The plane can't leave until everybody's on the plane anyway.
Yeah,
exactly. So why do you want to sit in a tube of stale air with coughing strangers any longer than you have to? But whatever, that's fine. Be in group 1. I could give a shit about that.
Well, they're the first off the plane too, though.
Only if their seats are in the front. Just because they get on first doesn't mean that they're seated up front.
But that's usually how they boarded. So, but anyway,
only if you're first class. Anyway, the rest of the story. So a few people in front of me in line is a family that I can only describe as a Benetton ad. It's an extremely liberal, clearly white woman with 5 kids, each of whom, if they were not adopted, then she's had a very varied social life. Because there's an Asian kid, a black kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was like, we're just going to call this chick Angelina for the rest of the story, because I think that's a pretty good, she wasn't a Karen, but she was definitely causing issues up there. There's also a huge family of, I don't know what nationality they were, but they were speaking Arabic. So they were definitely, if not bilingual or not from this nation or, 2 nationalities, whatever, I don't know.
Right.
And pretty tan. So it's like a family of them or whatever. They're going through, and because of this kerfuffle going on with Angelina and the ticketing agent, one of the kids, this one teenage kid, just kind of walks around her and doesn't put his boarding pass down and just goes up with the rest of his family, like brothers and sisters or whatever, and his mom. And of course, I'm an asshole. And at this point, I'm really upset. So I go, hey, I don't think that guy swiped his boarding pass. So they go, one of the other guys goes down the plank to get this guy to come back and swipe his boarding pass. He's not happy about this situation at all, and accuses me of being racist. You only said something because you're racist in the airport, right? And I look him right in the eye and said, I'm not racist, I'm petty, and I'm an asshole. And then the ticketing agent, the woman that was dealing with Angelina, says, sir, there's no reason for that kind of language. I said, I know there's not. Hence the irony of the statement. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. So after all of that,
my
finally goes down.
Fool you.
Yeah, I scan my thing. I get on. I go down back to my plane. There's somebody sitting in my seat.
Oh,
it's not him,
come on.
But it is one of his family members, one of his brothers, whatever, is sitting in my seat. So I'm like, hey, man, sorry, I think you're in my seat. He acts like he doesn't speak English or understand anything at all. So then the stewardess has to come back to the back of the plane to sort out the situation. Turns out all of them were sitting in the wrong seats. So like 6 to 8 people had to get up, shuffle around, and redistribute themselves so that they
probably had no idea how to read the ticket.
Well, no, they just all took aisle seats. They just took the best seats they could get that nobody was sitting in. And then when those people eventually showed up, because I was an aisle seat, I'm like, yeah, if I was sitting in the middle seat, I probably wouldn't even have said anything. I just looked for a better one myself. But I'm not giving up the extra leg room,
Maybe that's how Riyadh Air works. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it was not Riyadh. Sadly, it was American Airlines. So there's some irony in that for you, too.
They're not used to. That's funny.
There's only 36 rows of seats in this plane, and I'm in row 34. So I'm already off to a great start, right? I know I have a 3-hour layover in Charlotte, so it doesn't matter how long it takes to get off the plane. I'm not worried about that. But it does suck to just be stuck back there in the back. Who do I see walking down towards me but Angelina and her clan? She's in row 35 and 36 with all of her kids. So they're all right there around me. As the plane takes off, I hear the one kid start to cough. And I'm going to borrow a word from the medical field. The best use of this word for this cough, the kid had a productive cough. You could hear phlegm, and it was really disgusting, right? So, and being a kid, I didn't turn around to look at him, but he ain't muffling it, covering his face.
No, he's not putting. He's not using the elbow. No.
He's just hacking into the back of the plane there, 2 rows behind me, or 1 maybe even. Now, because he starts coughing, anybody in the immediate area that has a nervous cough thinks, "Oh, I can slip one out because." This kid's coughing real. So now it sounds like a fucking tuberculosis ward in the back of the plane. There's like 6 people around me that are coughing moderately. This kid behind me that is literally hacking up lungers behind me.
Yes.
That was my trip to Charlotte, right? So once I get to Charlotte, I'm like, all right, I had some, I forgot to tell you the most important part. I don't even know if I should tell this on air.
Go for it, man. You're rolling,
right,
go.
All right, so the 5 kids that are back there are loud. They're screaming. I guess one of them was having ear issues or whatever. I had planned for this trip, so I had Nicorette gum in my jacket. So I take out a piece of gum and start chewing it. One of the kids notices me chewing gum and starts pestering his mom for gum. He doesn't have any gum.
Yes.
She leans forward and asks, "Can I have a piece of your gum?"
Oh, yes.
I gave it to her. So
how old was the kid?
I don't know, 8.
Oh, that's plenty. That's plenty. In their country, they're probably smoking anyway.
It's only 4 milligrams. So it was already torn in this little thing in my shirt pocket. So it's not like I had to take the box of Nicorette out to hand it to her. I just reached in my pocket and handed it to her. I don't know, maybe 30 minutes later, I hear the kid complain to his mom, "I don't like this gum." And she goes, "Why?" And he goes, "It's making my throat burn." I don't know if you've ever chewed Nicorette, but it does in fact give you a bit of a raspy throat when you swallow the good stuff. So it did backfire. As funny as it was, and as much as
did you see him tweaking out on nicotine after that? Or?
Yeah, he was pretty fucking energetic after that. I'm not going to say he was any louder because he was already pretty loud, but he was definitely bouncing around in his feet.
I don't want to derail your story, but I want to go back to the guy at the TSA, the original guy who were there saying, "That's not you." All right.
Yeah. Oh, let me add. He wasn't just saying, "That's not you." He was saying, "This does not look like you," meaning he himself had a very strong accent. So it was pretty funny to watch. The kid he was harassing was this like young black kid who was definitely American.
Right.
You know
but the guy that they accused that you sidestepped, that was obviously going to be there for a while talking to somebody.
Yeah.
What was his reaction? Did he look guilty, or did he just go, what the fuck are you talking about?
He looked confused and irritated. He didn't look guilty.
Okay, so he didn't look guilty. All right. Well, that's usually the indicator.
He didn't sprint away from the TSA agent. That would have been hilarious.
And then did that go any farther? Did you look back and where they had that?
I don't know.
Oh, you just didn't even look. You didn't look back.
Within 45 seconds of that, I was having an existential crisis about not having keys. So
right.
At that point, I didn't.
Okay, yeah. Speaking of which, go back to your story.
All right, so back to the story. So I land in Charlotte at this, and again, I'd already been chewing some Nicorette gum. Well, I wasn't the only one chewing it, but I had some Nicorette gum. But I'm still like, I'm here for 3 fucking hours. I'm going to go out and smoke a cigarette. So I've been in PBIA.
I'm surprised that's not all you smoked.
Columbus. Well, I just got off a plane.
Right.
Columbus Airport, Charlotte. So as I'm getting out of the airport, now all airports have like signs that say you're leaving the secure area. They warn you that you're about to leave an area that for you to come back to this, you're going to have to go back through security, right? That's standard. That's been that way for decades. But Charlotte has something else going on. Charlotte funnels you into this weird hallway with lots of signage saying, you were leaving a secure area. And you enter a hall that is both sides of the walls and like a curved domed ceiling is all white plastic with bright lit behind. No signage whatsoever. And there is a voice that sounds very much like a traffic light voice for blind people saying, cross now. And it's saying, keep walking forward, keep walking forward, keep walking forward. So you go through this hallway, there's double doors at the end. You open them, you're in another identical, same length hallway with the white lights with the keep walking forward. And there wasn't 3 of those hallways, there's at least 2. And then you exit into the bottom of the airport where baggage claim and all that shit is. It was the most surreal dystopian shit I've ever seen in person.
You sound like Logan's Run to me.
Yeah, Judge Dredd or a sci-fi movie or something. And I wonder,
but did you
like,
end up outside?
Yeah. Let me finish. So, well, no, you end up still in the building, but then you go outside. But so I'm wondering if they were like analyzing people's gait, if there's all kinds of cameras behind those white lens or infrared. I don't know what it was, but for some reason they want you to walk down 2, if not 3 hallways and listen to a recording say, do not turn around, keep walking forward.
So this isn't just to go to a smoking area. This is just to get out of the airport?
No, this is just to exit the airport. Everybody who leaves the airport does this. Yes.
Okay.
This is just to get out.
I thought you were talking about just to get to a smoking area.
No.
Wow.
So I get outside. I go smoke my cigarette. I find the one little roped off area that they'll, the human petting zoo that they'll let you smoke a cigarette in.
Right.
And a quick aside. So Atlanta used to be the last airport that I knew of that had an actual room inside the airport that would allow you to smoke a cigarette. But it was the most disgusting. It was a glass room, and people would stand on the outside and literally look in at the smokers like they were looking at exotic animals at the zoo. And if you didn't have any cigarettes, you were fine. You just walk in there for a couple of minutes and walk out, and you're. So while I'm outside smoking my cigarette is when I start making my phone calls to see how I'm going to deal with this lock situation. So I call the after hours maintenance number, and they tell me that there's nothing they can do. I need to call a locksmith. I'm like, I know you guys have keys to the apartment because you threaten to come in all the time when it's pest control time. You send notices saying, be there for us, because if you're not, we're going to come in and do it no matter what. And I've seen you go into other apartments. This is the after hours thing. He goes, I can only help you and I'd already told my situation. He goes, I can only help you if there's a problem with the lock. I said, well, no, the problem with the lock is that I don't have keys to the lock. They're in another state, So he basically tells me to pound sand, which fucking sets me off, of course. So then I have to call a locksmith and get that arranged. That was $80. Surprise, when you get home, here's an additional $80 charge.
I was going to say you should have tried to just get a maintenance guy.
Where? It's Sunday. There ain't no maintenance guys.
Yeah, okay.
They don't live here. They live elsewhere.
Yeah, I got you. You're right. Yep.
Know what I mean? Like the office is closed. There's nothing I could do.
I got you.
My choices were, and also because my keys were there,
yourself.
I couldn't drive somewhere else because my other set of car keys were in my apartment. So it's not like I could have gone I could have Ubered to a hotel, I guess. But that would have been a lot more than $80.
Yeah. So you had to Uber home and then back to get your car?
Well, no, my car was home. I left my car. I Ubered to the airport in the first place. So when I got home in the Uber, when the Uber and I pulled up, small world, right? The guy driving the Uber, we're making small talk. In the course of small talk, I mentioned how I used to cut locks for a living. He says to me, have you ever heard of a company called Hammer Down Auctions? I said, yeah, that's my uncle's company. I worked for him for years. And he goes, you know Jack? I'm like, yeah, I just told that's my uncle. he used to work for Extra Space Storage. His name was Wes. He's like, tell your uncle I said hi. He was a really good guy.
Oh, that's hilarious.
We're talking about how professional Jack was. And I was like, yeah, I made him say motherfucker one time.
I remember that story.
So when I show up in the Uber, the locksmith guy is already here. And the worst...
No, wait a minute. You're still. Wait. Let's go back to the smoking area of Charlotte. All right, the little petting zoo.
The smoking area of Charlotte.
All right, hold on. Before you go any farther, what delineates that from outside? Is it just like a little velvet rope or something?
Actually, it was an honest to God little fence, like a gated little fence.
Okay,
maybe so 3 feet high.
You couldn't just step over and then be like, "Oh, we're in the airport now."
No, so you know how when you go through the drop off lane, there's like 3 lanes, and then there's like some a concrete median, and there's 3 lanes for buses, and then another concrete median. So this was in the middle of all of that at the very end of the airport. So like completely surrounded by exhaust and cars. Yeah, nowhere near any entrances or anything like that.
Perfect.
So okay. So then after that is when I had to go back in through Charlotte TSA, and that was a good hour in that line. It was very, very busy. And I noticed.
Oh, so wait. So after the petting zoo, you still had to go back through security?
Yeah, because I had gone through that magical hallway to get outside to smoke.
Okay, so the petting zoo isn't a security area. It's just the airport area of smoking.
It's just a little cordoned off area
Oh,
that you're allowed to
I thought it
smoke
was
in.
an
Yeah,
area.
yeah.
So once you go through security, that's it. No smoking.
Correct. Yeah, you
Oh,
can only, yeah,
gotcha.
there's no smoking inside the airport at all, ever. Yeah, you
I
have to
think
be
they used to
outside.
have, didn't they used to have little security areas like outside? You could, it would funnel you outside, like maybe on a second store terrace or something. Or, oh, you know what? I'm
Oh,
thinking of a
I don't know.
concert.
I've never seen anything like
I
that.
think I'm thinking of concerts. All right, never
So
mind. Go ahead.
as I'm in this very, very long line to get back into my second round of TSA now, this being in Charlotte as opposed to Columbus, uh, I noticed some signage that made me think back upon those white walls and everything that were telling me to continue walking forward. They've got all this signage up claiming, and I didn't do any research. I should have done this last night or today. Some company called Sentinel, which is a very ominous sounding name. I mean, that's the name of
Yeah.
the bad robots in the X-Men, right? The Sentinels.
Yeah, that's true.
But
That's right.
Sentinel is some
Sounds like
AI
fentanyl
program.
too. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, is an AI facial recognition camera system
Right,
akin
right,
to Palantir and all the others, and they're proudly displaying that the Charlotte Douglas International Airport is now partnered with
Yeah, they're not
Sentinel.
keeping a secret anymore. Yep.
And the signage is everywhere. It's really, really creepy and really weird, and it made me really appreciate it. So as we're landing in Gainesville, right? So I flew out of there a week ago or 8 days ago. I didn't get it. I knew it was a small airport, but it was hard to really get a gauge of it from the front, just on foot. But when you're landing from behind the airport, you can see the whole building and everything. Dude, that airport only has 4 gates, not terminals, gates.
Right.
Maximum of 4 planes can be loaded or unloaded. That
On the one
2
terminal,
tiny
right?
little baggage
Yeah.
carousels. It was I got off
Beautiful.
that plane and I was off the plane and out in front waiting for my Uber in like 6 minutes or less. It was great. So pro tip, anybody that has to fly in Florida, if you're anywhere near Gainesville, utilize that airport.
No shit.
It was a delight. Nothing else was. Oh, final part of the story. So I had thought about telling the maintenance guys, because once he said to me, there's nothing wrong with the lock, there's nothing we can do. I thought, well, maybe I'll try to call back later in the day and maybe I'll get a different person on the phone. And then my argument, I'll tell them there's something wrong with the lock. I can't get my key to work the lock. And then they'll come out and unlock the apartment, right? But then I thought about that. I'm like, well, maybe that would save me some money, right?
Right.
But I ended up not doing it. But I'm glad that I ended up not doing it, or should have done it. I don't know, either way. Point being, today when I went to the office and explained my situation, she goes, yeah, we'll bring you a new key. We'll cut you a new key. I went to Seven Brew. Ooh, shout out. They finally opened in the week that I was gone.
Yeah.
At Seven Brew in Gainesville now. So I went there. When I came back, there was a note on my door saying new key is in the office. When I went in the office, they had to change my whole lock because the key they had didn't work. So there was something technically. Well, I mean, not really, because my key would have worked. But yeah, they couldn't open my door.
So the
they had to drill
locksmith
out the
didn't
lock
give you a
and put
new lock.
on.
He just opened your existing lock.
Dude, not only did he not, did he open it, he opened it in less than 5 seconds. He opened it so fast that it was embarrassing. It pissed me off to get $80 to do it. I honestly want to learn how to pick locks now because he did it with a rake. He did it. It's so fast and easy that I almost wonder why I even bother locking my door at this point.
Right?
Then again, I wasn't capable of doing it, but yeah. And I asked him, I was
and
like,
this is
hey, man,
a deadbolt lock?
Deadbolt, yeah.
No shit.
And I said to him, I go, hey, man, you ever watch that YouTube channel, The Lock Picking Lawyer? And he smiled and he goes, I've been doing this for like 12 years. He goes, you know how mechanics don't like to watch people work on cars? I was like, okay, I get it. And I said, but he's good, right? He goes, yeah, he's a savant. He's amazing at it. But I guess he's just not interested in watching it because he goes,
I've never heard of this guy.
He does all the things. Oh, he's a YouTuber. I'm assuming he is, in fact, also a lawyer, but all of his channel or his videos are just about him picking locks. And people send him like, I bet you can't pick this. Gun locks, padlocks, bike locks.
And where's he from?
I don't know. He sounds American.
Well, so he's not in this country?
No, he's in this country. I don't know where he's. I don't detect a regional accent enough to try to pinpoint him down, and I've never bothered.
See if he's in Florida. We'll try to get him on. That'd be an interesting guy to talk to. Speaking of which, before I forget,
he's a master at it, though. Yeah.
Right. All right, so before I forget, we're going to definitely go see Stavi, and I want to know more about these couch seats. And I'm really nervous about us waiting, too, because I know we got to wait till after the first of the year, but I hope he doesn't. Well, I kind of hope he doesn't sell out, but at the same time, I kind of hope maybe he does, because then maybe he'll do a second show. But anyway, the point I was going to, before I forget, I already texted young Ethan, but you should text young Ethan, say, hey, do you want to go to Stavi? If he says yes, just say happy birthday, get him a ticket. But yeah, I want to find out if we can get on some kind of like front row couch seats that we might get roasted on. That would be insanely good. That would be.
Now, when I look at the diagram of the stage, I don't think the couches are like front row. They're like, I don't know. I would like you to go on and look at the.
Well, not only, let's see if we. Well, it'll be too late by the time this comes out. I was going to say we could ask people to tell us if they know about it. It's Hard Rock, right? Hard Rock. Is it like a theater there? I've never even really been to Hard Rock.
I haven't either, and if I have, I was obviously too inebriated to remember, and it was probably so long ago that it's been remodeled.
I was going to say I don't know. It's the one with the guitar that shoots the guitar logo in the air, right? I don't think you've ever even been to it
in Hollywood. Yeah, I feel like I've been there once,
really,
for a concert or something, but it's been a long, long time.
I don't think I've ever really been there. So, do they have like a concert hall? Is that where you think they're going to hold this event?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'll have to look into that, man. Also, and I know you're going to be busy, and I know we're shooting the last episode of the year in 2 days. I know it's not going to probably be almost February before it comes out, but try to think of, I've been watching a bunch of 10 best and 10 worst of the year. Try to think of your best worst of the year. You know what I'm saying? We'll do a year-end episode and go, oh, this is the worst, this is the best, this is this. You know what I mean? About whatever,
montage, a verbal montage.
Yeah, of whatever category you can think of. Obviously, I can think of some stuff that are like, yeah, this is a really good year for so and so, but also a really bad year for the same guy. So yeah, there's all kinds of things we could talk about, best and worst for the end of the year. And the other thing I wanted to do was, did you get that email I sent you?
Yes.
Dude, that email that Facebook post is just the perfect example.
Did you want me to?
No, let me set it up first.
You want me to read them out?
Let me set it up first. That is the perfect example of first of all, I'm a self-admitted Facebook troll. All right. People say stuff all the time. I actually got into it with a guy the other day because his comment was, and I admit it wasn't a question, but his comment is, let me know when you're tired of being, or something about being tired of being lied to. I'll be right here. So of course I started commenting all over the place about the facts that he's commenting on something that, yes, they were lying to us about, but he's ignoring a lot of other stuff. And he got really, upset about how I was hijacking his post. And I was like, I literally had to copy and paste that statement and go like, all right, look, I know it wasn't a question, but it seems awfully invitational. I'm indeed tired of being lied to. But anyway, this particular post was about the stuff that's going on in Somalia. You know what? As a matter of fact, before we even talk about that, we haven't said anything about the Brown or the other college shooting, have we?
No, not really.
What was the other college?
Was it MIT?
God, it sounds. That's what I want to say too.
You talking about the professor that was murdered?
Yes, there's two of them, and then apparently the guy killed himself, suicided himself. I'd love to see it.
Wasn't the guy like a fusion and researcher or something?
Yes. Now, from what I hear, that this is not here, but from the scuttlebutt on the internet is that Trump has a little something to do with this, in the fact that he was getting ready to sign some energy deal with somebody, and that this was because these guys were working on cold fusion that apparently would have derailed this whole. So anyway, there's that. Right. And I don't know if that has much to do with what this guy was, but this guy was posting about the Minnesota shit that's going on, the billions that they're supposedly sending to Somalia or whatever the hell. And he was all upset about that. And our buddy Rob Stevenson, who I clash with all the time on Ukraine, and you'll see why that's important in a second. He came in and he says, and he's a big time liberal Biden supporter, Kamala, the whole nine yards. The guy that posted this is obviously a Trump supporter. He came in and his comment was, this is a story from a couple of years ago, yada, yada, yada. My comment to the guy that put the post on there about being upset about Minnesotans was, why should I care? I don't live in Minnesota, and something else. I said, well, that's where the comment starts, right?
Yeah, I've got it right here if you want me to read them.
All right, that's where it starts. So go ahead and start reading from there.
All right, yeah, so it starts with a comment from you saying, how about those of us that don't care since we don't live in Minnesota? Like, I don't live in Ukraine. Sorry, Rob, I had to.
There you go. Obviously.
Get a response from somebody named Mark Battle.
That's the guy who made the original post.
Oh, okay. Well, it wasn't just state funds. It was also federal, but I guess that doesn't bother you either. To which you responded, nope, don't pay taxes. Tax is theft anyway. And then he responds with, why don't you get behind Trump's plan to replace the IRS with tariffs? Then you wouldn't care either.
That's me. That's my comment.
Oh, that's you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
See how I'm doing? See what I'm doing there? I'm using Trump's own, he's a Trump supporter. Like, hey, man, your guy is trying, this is what your guy's trying to do. All right, go ahead.
Next response is, tariffs are a tax that punishes the poor and middle class.
And that's a different guy.
That's Dick Powers.
Correct.
Yeah. And then more than the IRS? How so? I'm guessing that's your question to him.
Yeah, the rest of the comments are me.
Right. If tariffs move jobs back to this country, isn't that good for poor and middle class families, including all the immigrants that just came here looking for work? I don't agree with Trump's idiotic, chaotic approach, but an across-the-board 5% tariff on everything wouldn't hurt.
See how I used this, he was a Biden guy, so I flipped the script on him, Yeah, wouldn't tariffs help out, help bring jobs back for all these immigrants that Biden let in, See, this is what makes me a perfect, because I don't care about either one of their. I'm way more liberal than, way farther left than any liberal. I'm way more conservative than any Republican. It makes this trolling these people so easy. Like, look, don't you see, the hypocrisy of what, standing on just such partisan bullshit, grounds that you can't see. There's solutions that would solve everybody's problem, if you would just consider them. I don't agree that, what Trump's doing with, I don't know. I don't disagree with what Trump's doing with the tariffs either. Really, I could care less. If I have to buy something that somebody makes in a different country, I'll have to pay more. Big deal. So what? I don't care. I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Pretty soon, once we get some new equipment and we start increasing our technological performance on this show, we'll be able to show things like the things I just read off the back of the screen.
Yes,
as opposed to have just talk about them and take my glasses off and on so I can see things behind me or further away.
The only thing better that would tailboard us into the next segment than what you just said would be rating our phone number of 904-549-9024, because the next segment, well, you can do the again.
904-549-9024.
So the next segment of the show is we're going to talk about we're going to take a couple of weeks off, maybe a month off at the beginning of the year, probably go out, buy some equipment, do some stuff. But here's the things we want to accomplish next year with our show. One of the first being that we get like a banner that runs across the screen with the number while we're doing it. You know what I'm saying? Just a little thing that just goes across. That'd be nice. And of course, obviously, the other thing that you spoke about, the fact that, maybe you could just take an email and put it up on the screen or put it in picture or something like that. We got to figure out that kind of technology. What other things were you thinking of?
Well, that was the biggest one is incorporating split screen and bringing in videos and images and stuff so that when we're talking about something, we can literally show exactly what we're doing and what we're talking about. That'll open up a lot more show ideas. We'll be able to do that whole MST3K kind of thing where we can just rip on something. I think it'll be far more. And I also think as much as I do like this phone, there's no way it's going to compete with laptop performance. So I think my video quality will be much better.
Before I forget, too, you're actually bringing up a really good point because last episode a lot of people may be wondering what the hell we were talking about on that HEB grocery store video. because we talked about it and agreed that we knew exactly what was in it, and then just talked about it like everybody else that watches the podcast would know what happened in the video. Which in fact, what happened in the video is there are a bunch of people standing in line in at HEB, and the system went down, and the manager comes out and says, "The system down. Everybody bag up your groceries and take them home for free. Merry Christmas." So now that now that conversation will make a lot more sense.
Right. And did it happen on Christmas Eve? I mean, was
No.
it?
It was a couple of, yeah, it was before Christmas. It was a couple of days before Christmas, I think. Within like 5 days before Christmas. But it was in the Christmas season. It was close enough, whatever. But so another one of the things I'd like to be able to do is shoot the episodes later. I'd like to start shooting in the more in the evening time. Maybe because that would first of all open up a ton of people that would, number one, want to be and possibly be guests. And I think it would also make it a lot better for people, chance of people actually calling us. Because I'm sure, like back in the day, that was kind of a thing with the love doctors. You couldn't get caught. That was kind of what made you a rebel, is you called into the love doctors from work when you weren't supposed to be. So we could make it easier by like shooting at least, maybe still 2 a week, but maybe do one during the day and maybe do one more in the evening. What was the other things? There was something else I'm forgetting about now. Oh, and maybe
more costumes. Definitely more costumes.
Costumes? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I'm kidding.
Yeah, that's true. Costumes. Yeah, costumes. I'm out of clothes. I'm all down for costumes. Yeah, there's something else too, though, that I'm forgetting that we gotta work on for next year. I'm sure it'll come to me eventually, though. Anyway, so I don't know.
Do we want to talk about the Ian Carroll?
Yeah, I was going to say, without further ado, let's dive into that. See, now that would be perfect if we could show, because that's like a 9-minute clip. If we could show that and then talk about it. But why don't you do your best to explain what he's saying, and I'll see if I agree and can add anything.
Well, what he was talking about in the video that you sent me or that you posted on Facebook was Trump apparently is issuing some sort of idea, or I don't know how far along the pipeline this idea has gone, or if it's just an idea, but of America itself occupying Gaza, taking Gaza.
Well, it's basically the whole basis of the ceasefire that we're supposedly, there's really no ceasefire, but that's the whole that was the deal with the ceasefire, is that America would go in there and patrol it.
So what Ian Carroll was talking about in the video is what's behind this. Is it just something to help further Israel's agenda because they want us to be there to get rid of the Palestinians, or is it going to be a thorn in Israel's side because they can no longer conquer and crush and do what they want to do in that area? If the American forces are there, they won't be able to just randomly blow things up and to abduct people and all the other sorts of things.
Keep out the
so aid. I guess what he was talking about is, and he was curious, and in his exposition, he was talking about why does he think Trump wants to do this? So, and it all depends on whether A, it is in fact to help Netanyahu, or B, if it's actually against Israel. Is he doing it for legacy? Is he doing it just so that he can say he's the guy that solved the problem? Or is he just actually still a Zionist and still being controlled, and this is just part of the mechanism to do it? What do you think? Do you think he's playing a really smart long game here, or do you think
here's what I know. Here's what I know. If he is turning against Israel and going to go in there and what basically I thought what Ian was more saying was like, we're just taking it. We're going to just occupy it, like so many other places that we're just going to take it, like Syria. We occupy a part of Syria. We're just going to take it. They can't, like you said, it's like they can't bomb it now. They can't refuse aid. They can't say that it's not a state. If we say it's a state, it's a state. The thing that I know is that if that's the case, Trump's got to look out. I mean, he's got to keep his head down. I mean, he certainly can't come out and just say that, right?
No, absolutely not. I mean,
You've got
and again,
you'd have
Carol talked
Thomas
about
Crooks
this.
popping up every fucking week if he came out and said
He would
that.
have to play along and say the right things and do the right steps
That's
and
right.
dance the dance, and then try to. And I don't know that he's capable of that. B,
I don't know either.
if that's what he even wants. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't think much good will come of it. But
I believe,
and again, he points out is it like he's going to rebuild it so that he can give it back to the Palestinians? Like we're just going to fix it all up and then leave, or are we just going to stay there forever?
Well, I think I truthfully think his idea is basically just to gentrify it. Just make it so nice that the poor Palestinians that can't afford the property tax is going to have to leave. Just like they gentrify anywhere else that they want. Move in, white people move in, property taxes go up, price of living goes up too high for poor people. They got to move out. So, I mean,
if that's the plan, then that's basically essentially just slowly giving it to Israel. They're the ones that will have the money to buy the properties.
Not necessarily. There are plenty of Arabs that would probably buy property there.
That want to live there?
Sure.
I mean, I guess if they made it nice enough.
Sure. Dude, there are plenty of Arabs got plenty of money to make stuff very nice. There's plenty. I mean, they're already talking about Arabs giving them money to help rebuild it without them being able to go like, all right, well, it's ours now, or it's not yours, at least to Israel. I don't know. Who knows, man? I mean, but that's some freaking 4D chess there if that's what Trump's doing.
It is, and he's, 2 years left in his term to accomplish whatever it is he's trying to accomplish and leave whatever legacy he's trying to leave.
Now, and then let's speculate a little bit into the future. What if he pulls it off? That's a Nobel Prize. That's a forever.
If he actually does,
that's a chisel his face in on Mount Everest move right there.
That's in the history books forever. All that, the whole 9 yards for sure. If he pulls it off, If that's his intention, if he's capable of doing it, and if he pulls it off without being unalive, you're welcome, YouTube. Or all of that happens, then yes. If all of those things, then that would be historical.
That'd be insanely amazing.
And not with a capital H, but in all caps, every letter.
And I mean, I got to give Trump credit as much as I call him a clever idiot, and he is. I seriously don't think, I don't think he likes people dying. I really think when he says that, he seems earnest and like, look, I just don't like people dying. And if that's the case, God bless him, man. And even though he does other things that would suggest maybe not so much when, he blows up boats in Venezuela, but, there's definitely some of the time it seems like, in mass at least, he's like, I don't want nuclear wars. I don't want people dying. All right, I'm willing to let these people die if I can keep these people from dying. I think his overall goal is to stop people from dying. I just think he's too stupid to realize, he is kind of helping at the same level on some levels. But yeah, I don't know, man. That's after I was watching that whole video by Ian Carroll. I was just like, oh, wow. Okay. Wow. Oh, yeah. And even Carroll is saying, like, look, if he pulls it off, he'd even, he'll call him the best president we ever had in the history of America.
They'll put him on Rushmore.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, though, man. It's just, that seems so, I mean, I guess if you think Trump is capable of, like, thinking that, I don't know, man. Or do you think maybe somebody in Trump's orbit has come up with this plan and he's just going along with it?
Well, that does make more sense because even if he pulls this off, there's no way it's going to be done in 2 years. This is a much longer term plan than that.
True.
Which is, that's the argument that I've used all my life, even before people use the term deep state. But when people would say things like, oh, the president is not really in charge, blah, blah, blah. Well, no shit. Of course he's not. Not completely. This country is hundreds of years old. Do you honestly think that we do everything that we're going to do on a 4-year plan? We don't think ahead more than 4 years for every foreign policy and every investment that we make. I mean, some of these things take more than 4 years for the fucking building to go through. Of course we have people in the background that are keeping an eye on things and making plans. But
And 2028 is definitely a freaking game of Yahtzee. With, I mean, I hope JD Vance doesn't get elected. That guy's just I don't. Is he? Does he wear eye makeup?
yes,
Good Lord,
he has to. He has to.
I know another guy that wears eye makeup. He's a drummer. He literally wears like you would think he's getting ready to go on stage for a Motley Crue concert as he shows up to work on building something like at a construction site. It's like that's what it makes me think of when I see this guy with eye makeup on.
What's the point of wearing eye makeup if you're the drummer? You're in the very back. Nobody can see your eyes.
I don't know. But good Lord, I hope he doesn't get elected. Jesus Christ. And of course, you know that he's literally been in politics for 2 years. He was basically vaulted into office by some technocrat.
While I was in Ohio, because of my compromising kind nature, I was called upon to watch a couple of movies that I would have never watched on my own. Chick flicks. There's no better word to describe them.
Okay.
And I actually watched while I was there Hillbilly Elegy.
Really?
Which is J.D. It's the dramatization of the book that he wrote, his memoir. And let me just say that movie is fucking god awful.
Oh, really?
Just terrible. The acting is terrible. It's cliche. It's horrible.
Who's in it again?
It's basically, Glenn Close is the only person.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Glenn Close plays his mother.
She plays his mamaw. She plays his grandmother.
Yeah. Whatever.
His mother's a real piece of work. Yeah. So it's essentially, this is a Appalachian version of the Fountainhead. Okay. It's just Ayn Rand all over again.
What's the Fountainhead?
The Fountainhead is a book by Ayn Rand where it's, like.
Oh, it's a book. It's not a movie.
Yeah. No, it's a book, but it's that same mentality and that same selfishness and throw your family away.
Idiots like me and the listeners have no idea what the Fountainhead is. So
some of them will know. But basically, it's just a revamped version of that, set against the Appalachian hills of Kentucky.
Interesting.
Yeah, terrible movie.
I don't know.
An hour and a half of my life I'll never get back.
I mean, so if it's not Vance, who else would the Republicans put up? I have no idea who else would.
Theo? Rubio and Cruz together.
Rubio and Cruz. That would be Rubio and Vaughn. Vaughn and no, I'd say Theo and Tucker. Why not? Could you imagine having to hear that laugh in a presidential, vice presidential speech?
That shrill giggle, that effeminate giggle. Yeah. That would definitely strike fear into the hearts of our enemies. That's for sure.
Yeah, those two crazy motherfuckers.
I feel like the scene in Braveheart where Longshanks tosses his son's boyfriend out the window. And he's like, God forbid my enemies ever see my son. It'll just encourage them to invade.
It would be hilarious. Just show a picture of Theo and Tucker sitting across the table from each other with their fingers right over the button.
I would almost vote
fuck
for
around and find out.
Just for the Theo Vaughn soundbite, like you think Trump says some funny and outlandish and outrageous things in his tweets and his speeches, but if we had Theo Vaughn up there,
that would be hilarious. That would be epic. That would be the best 4 years ever.
If they wanted to crossbar, honestly, JD really wants to embrace his Kentucky, upbringing. It should be him and Theo, Vance and Vaughn.
That wouldn't be bad. But
right? if and then they could just do the double V's for victory for Vance and Vaughn. Like the slogan writes itself.
Right. You know who would have to be press secretary for Theo Tucker if they won, right? Tim Dillon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Who are you going to say?
No, I didn't have an idea for it, but I just listened to Tim's most recent show, and
or
he's
maybe
talking about his dad. This is why I was wearing out the word montage earlier. I said a visual montage.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard somebody say a word in a so many times that this word starts to lose meaning,
Yep.
and it just sounds like the syllables themselves.
China.
Well, in his
China.
newest episode, yes, Tim Dillon wears out the word montage to the point where I was questioning how to spell it. It was affecting my driving. It was bad.
Yeah, yeah. You know who else would be a good press secretary for Theo and Tucker would be Big J. He'd be good.
Yeah.
He'd be a good press secretary for anybody, really. That'd be hilarious. Yeah, we gotta definitely.
It looks beautiful behind you, man.
Yeah, it's gorgeous out. It's gorgeous out. Yeah, we definitely got to get somewhere where Stavi will roast us, so we can get him at least to ask us what we do, so we can go. Well, we got a podcast. That would be the goal. Yeah, but that'll be fun. That'll be a fun show.
I have to dress hideous or something to draw his eye.
Ooh, that's not a bad
Either that or just outright heckle him and get his attention that way.
Yeah, but that might turn out.
I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah, I was going to say that would look. I don't know. That'd just be too. That'd be too desperate and
Yeah, and plus I don't want to be that guy. I hate hecklers. I mean, I like watching them dealt with savagely, but I don't want to be the one that gets dealt
with. And dude,
with.
I've watched Stavi. I mean, a lot of his work is crowd work, where he's just like, hey, who are you guys? What are you guys here doing? Wear a funny set. Bring your clown mask. Wear your tie-dye shirt. I'll bring my my V for Vendetta mask, and we'll sit there and they'll say, "What the fuck are you guys doing?"
Remember the comedy corner when it was on Dixie? When it was where there with the
Carefree, you mean?
What the hell was that? The Carefree Theater. Yeah, they had the comedy corner, it was like their little club in there. So I once saw Bill Hicks perform there, and I literally had
that must have been great.
Closest seat to the stage, dead center. He had his drink and his ashtray on my table and kept walking over to my table to reach down and get cigarettes. And I remember at one point, I forget he was trying to ask people for odd subjects. He was going to craft a joke out of, like just people yelling things out in the crowd. And I tried to throw him off by saying necrophilia.
What
that was my improv suggestion to him.
You didn't take the bait?
Huh?
You didn't take the bait?
No, he didn't take the bait. No. What's funny is my mom was with me at that show and sitting there at that table up front. And she was laughing so hard that she didn't realize until after the show that she had a fucking kidney stone. And after that show, I had to take her to the emergency room where she, in fact, passed it. Like she did have it.
Oh, my Lord. She
thought her sides were hurting from laughing. And they were, but Bill Hicks made her laugh out a kidney stone. So
my Lord. Well, good Lord, if anybody listening thinks they have a better story than Bill Hicks making his mother laugh out a kidney stone, feel free to call 904-549-9024. And, what do you think? You got anything else?
No, I'm kind of running out.
Dude, it's so nice out. I can't wait to get out and get back on the bike. It's going to be nice. I am starving.
We started a few minutes early, so this is good enough.
We've been doing 50-something minutes. We're good. We're good. We got it all out there.
All right.
And
I'll repeat it too. Once again, 904-549-9024.
And like I say, I know you're going to be busy till day after tomorrow till we do the last episode, but just try to think of best and worst. I'll probably have to write mine down, I'm sure, but we'll do a best and worst episode. All right, guys, we'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys. Like, comment, and share.